Hello guys, welcome back to the video. So we got a very special set of videos for you. We're very excited about what we want to do is we want to take a lot of the knowledge that we've been showing on this channel about mobility, about stability in terms of capoeira, and we want to dissect a lot of acrobatic movements. We're going to spend our time more on the floor or ground acrobatics, most of them known as floreiros. So we want to take those acrobatic movements and dissect them into little digestible training sessions so that you can be comfortable in progressing towards them. So it's a very exciting set of videos and we hope you guys enjoy. The idea here is all of the movements that we're going to be showing you through this series, we're going to talk about motor control, mobility, and stability. Now, you'll have a lot of capoeira athletes that will be able to do these crazy acrobatics shown for the first time or their second try. They're just natural at it. They're the Gretzkys of capoeira. They just get it very, very well, and that's fine. But for us normal people that kind of shy away from these impressive and also risky movements, I'm going to show you a way that you can do them progressively and be comfortable with them and build that confidence. All right. Through my life, my capoeira career, if you will, I've been dabbling with these acrobatics. Some I do much better than others, but I can do most of them fairly well, I would say. But I sprained a lot of ankles, I got a lot of soreness throughout this process, and I don't want you guys to go through it. So motor control is essentially the coordination of our body through that complex movement. So if we're doing a macaco, how do we start it? How do we face the fear? That's what we're talking about. It's the nature of putting all of the movements together, of extending the hip, putting the hand on the ground, pushing off, landing with the second hand, etc., etc. So this is the complexity of the acrobatics that we're going to do. We're going to spend a lot of time on this, really understanding how they're working. But what's also equally important is mobility. Here's the thing, if we don't have proper mobility to some of our joints, we could still do the movement as I mentioned, but we will be risking ourselves a lot. That's where we can get strains, injuries, and the movement might not be as clean as we want it to be. So mobility at our joints is going to be extremely important. And then stability. It's great that we can reach that range of motion, but then we have to own the stability of it so that we're able to really own that movement and that we're, again, not risking any injuries there. All right, so what is the preparation? What are the video sequences here? We're going to go through all of these acrobatics, and through these videos, we're going to sprinkle in what I call preparation videos. So preparation videos are essentially exercises that will help you for the next level of exercises. So not just the next one, but the coming up exercises. So before the AU and the parafuso de mão, we're going to do preparation where we're going to work mobility, we're going to work stability in preparation for these movements. Then before the queda de rins and before other movements, we're going to do preparation 2 to again work the mobility, the stability, going in towards more complex patterns. And then preparation 3 for ponte, leg, and so on and so forth. Now these acrobatics are meant to be in a certain order because one will lead to the next. We don't, like the idea again is you can have some very good athletes that can start with the what I consider more advanced stuff without necessarily mastering the beginner stuff, let's say. And that's totally fine. This is not written in stone anything, but I just believe that if you can master these ones here, that when we get to number 12, it becomes a lot easier. So the acrobatic movements are going to be the AU, And with the AU, as basic as it might be the first thing that you learn in your Capoeira class. We're going to show you a way that you could build your AU that could be stable and mobile so that it opens up the doorway to the next movement. So it's not just about flipping your legs above your head, but it's that control, that motor control that will lead to the other ones. The other one here being twisting on your hands with the parafuso de mão. Then we're going to go more on ground movement with the queda de rins. We're going to work even more with our ponche. Once the ponche is mastered, we're going to go into single leg movements with the leque or the AU batido. Now that we have that mobility from our thoracic, we can go to macacos, AU de frente, S dobrado, and we'll finish with the raiz. Now there's a lot of other acrobatics that we could put in here. Some of them that I just can't do, so I'm just going to show you what I can do. But the idea is if you have these in your portfolio, if you will, then it will be really good. It'll be fun to mix them together and do amazing sequences. Your game is going to become more interesting and diverse. And if your game has these flowery movements, these floreros in it, it's going to impress people. And if you're impressing people, people are going to want to play with you. So if you're playing against more people, then you're getting more experience, and your game, your martial arts game, is also getting better. So it's all about creating this nice image, but to get you to become a better martial artist through Capoeira as well. So that's kind of the idea behind that. Now, before we move in to our first set of videos, we'll do a few checks. So I'll get my friend Chigri here to join me. All of these movements that we're going to be doing are going to be very demanding on our shoulder joint, our scapula, our lower back, and our hips. So we're going to look, we're going to do a few checks that you can do on yourself or on your participants to make sure that you or your students are ready for the acrobatics that we're going to teach them. The first one, I'll get Chigri just to face me, is to do an overhead position, locking the elbows here. Now what I want to do is I want to see if my athlete can really own this position here where their back is not extended. So if our athletes, to be able to reach further, they go an extension here, I'm going to try to cue them to either squeeze the glutes to correct that. And if that's not corrected, then I know I have some shoulder mobility and I have some motor control to work. And we'll see that a little bit later. The other thing that we're going to be checking is we're going to be we're going to spend a lot of time on the ground. So are our wrists capable of going into extension, active extension, to about 90 degrees. So I can do this with my athlete here, and I'm just checking if they're able to own that. If they're lacking this, we're going to do some exercises so that our athletes can get better suited here, so that when we're putting strain on this articulation or this joint, it's not going to lead to any risk of injury. So to actively be able to get your 90 degree is going to be important. Next one here, I'm going to get Chigri to place his feet together. And I'm going to ask him to go and touch his feet without bending the knees. And then going back up. What we do with a toe touch If our athlete is able to go bend down and touch their toes without any pain, it gives a good idea of motor control in terms of the legs, in terms of flexion at the hips, and this is going to be really crucial, especially when we move into more of those ponte, aoji French kind of movements, to be able to have that natural mobility. Thank you, Chigri. Because if you don't have that mobility and that stability, like I mentioned, you risk injuring yourself, and we really don't want you. I believe that all of these acrobatics, most capoeiristas, beginners, can start dabbling into them and become more comfortable and putting them into their vocabulary of their movements, but we just want to do it in a safe and effective manner. So thank you very much for watching, and I'm excited to show you what we have with our progressive videos.